Hello everybody, it is November 24th, 2019. I am in the geo-shed. It's a Sunday. Blackie is here with me. Come here, Blackie. You guys can see him. You see him right there. Blackie, come here. This is just going to be me talking about what's going to be going on here in the next few months as winter sets in and stuff. I don't know if you can see on Blackie here. He's going to the vet Monday, but he's missing some fur. He's been licking it off. He doesn't seem to have any redness or irritation or fleas or anything like that, so I don't know what's up. But that kind of is why I'm doing this. He's not the only reason, but he's one of the reasons. What we're probably going to see out of me over the next couple months is not a lot. You're not going to see me in a lot of chats. You're not going to see me around a lot in general, not commenting, stuff like that. If I get bored and I have the ability, I will probably put up a video or two. There are some videos planned. I will, if I have the opportunity, I will watch some of your guys' videos and I may like it, but I may not comment on it. It's nothing personal. I have some stuff that needs my attention. These videos I do and stuff like this is not my job. This is a hobby, all right? And there's some things going on right now, not life-threatening or life-altering or anything like that, but they need my attention and they are a priority over being online. Blackie is one of them with a little thing on him. He loves it in here. So you're not going to see a lot of me, essentially. I've already said that. But today I'm not just going to leave you with that and leave you hanging. I am going to get in here in a few minutes and show you around the lab a little bit more in detail, show you some of the projects that may or may not get done in the next couple of months. Plus this COPA thing, I'm not even going to get into that right now, but I'm not taking down my channel or anything that drastic, but that irritates the crap out of me. Other than showing you around the lab here for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit too about textbooks and their role as a legitimate source in science. All right, so hopefully this won't be too long, but I just needed to let you guys know what's going on and why you're not going to see me for a while and that it's no big deal. If I know you personally, and there are some of you that I do know personally, as a matter of fact, I got to meet two of you for the very first time last week, and it was kind of a nice belated birthday present. And it was really good meeting you guys. But anyway, if you do personally know me, feel free to message me. Or if you need anything, you can still ask me, but ask me personally, all right, if you know me personally. And that does include, you know who you are. You know who on here I interact with and who I'm on groups with and chats and stuff. You know who you are. Because I'm not disappearing. I'm just pulling back for a while. So, let's see. I guess we'll start with textbooks. Okay, so Blackie, he's all about me right now, but there's two textbooks I want to show you here. I'm going to show you, I'm not going to go into detail because that's not what this is about, but this is a tectonics textbook. These were given to me as birthday presents because I had them ages ago and lost them, and I'm glad that I have this one. This one is actually a first print edition, 1995, so it's not up to date, but the new one's not too different. I've seen inside of it on Amazon and stuff. But basically, the tectonics book here, this is very technical. Plate tectonics is not just simply about plates moving about the globe. There are actual patterns to this. Plates move in specific, predictable manners as long as all things continue in the direction they're going. There's actual predictable equations in here. Blackie, you want to come over here, brother? You can come by me. We can model this stuff. We can model plate motion. Now this was one of my actual textbooks when I was an undergrad, and I think we were using the first edition. This is the third most up-to-date, 2012. We were using the first or second, I don't remember. The cover was blue, now it is orange. For the first and second edition, it was blue, and I think the first one was 84, the second one was 96, so I was right at that cusp between first and second. I honestly don't remember which edition. I know it wasn't this one, because I was well out of college by the time this came out. But I wanted this again because structural geology is one of my things, and it's a very complex subject in and of itself as well. Most of us think of geology as being a simple, oh, look at those rocks over there. Oh yeah, we think they're this age, but we don't really know, and we think it's this type, but we don't really know. That's not true. All right. As I've shown you in other videos, you can make predictive models in geology just like you can in physics and chemistry. In this book here, in structural geology, you have two main types of structures. You have primary and secondary. Primary structures form when the rock forms. So that would be ripple marks on a sandstone. Or say flow banding due to foliation, primary foliation because of magma movement as it cools of minerals in an igneous rock. Those are examples of primary structures. So they're not just in sedimentary rocks, they can be in igneous too. And they metamorphic, no, because metamorphic rocks by definition are secondary. Metamorphic rocks can form from other metamorphic rocks, but those rocks themselves have already gone alteration. So you don't really have primary structures in metamorphic rocks. You can't have secondary. Secondary structures would be things like strike and dip. Say a bed, just use sedimentary, gets deposited nearly level, and then later tectonics forms a syncline or an anticline or a thrust fault or a monocline or a normal fault or a strike and slip fault. Those are all secondary structures. To figure a lot of things out in structural geology, you actually have to do analysis of the rock fabric. The answers are in the rocks if you know how to read the pages. And then there's things like stereo nets, and which can help you not only figure out folds that are not visible in an entire outcrop to make predictions about that fold in the subsurface, but they could also help you reconstruct actual strike and dip. If you can't get actual strike and dip of the rock, you can only get parent dip and stuff like that. But yeah, structural geology is complex. You're originally taught that sedimentary layers are deposited horizontally, and that's one of the basic laws of geology, and that is true. But it's not like that's how they stay. And it's a misconception that a lot of people like to extrapolate. You can't extrapolate one situation indefinitely. It's like the same thing I have a problem with analogies. There's a reason why you don't see analogies in scientific papers. It's because they are good for a certain specific aspect of some sort of model or thing or how something works. And so someone can make the connection that they may not understand otherwise. Oh yeah, it kind of works like that. They're not meant to be extrapolated to the nth degree. And there's a lot of people that do that, and that's not the correct thing to do. Okay, so why am I showing you these textbooks? I mean, other than the fact that I'm really excited to have them in my possession again, which I am I see Blackie, he's so cute. I'm sorry he's a distraction, but he's just trying to explore. He's a happy little man. As a source, are textbooks legitimate scientific sources? Yes. Do you generally see them sourced in peer-reviewed journals? No. There's a reason for that. If you look at the sources in things like textbooks, you're going to see most of them are peer-reviewed papers. So most people, when they do a peer-reviewed article or paper, they are going to pull from the original paper. They're not going to pull from this. And generally, scientific papers are more targeted. These are set up to start you out understanding an entire sub-branch of geology. In this case, structural. In this case, plate tectonics. These are not meant to be peer-reviewed papers. These are summaries of the work that was done up until this time. That's what these are. So if you want to cite a textbook, if you're like doing a roadside geology book or something like that, it's fine to cite stuff like this. That's perfectly fine. But when you cite peer-reviewed papers, you generally don't cite these. So are these legitimate sources to look at? Yeah, they kind of are, because the information is pulled from peer-reviewed stuff. So it's not like they're just assembled from a bunch of guesses or somebody's opinion. That being said, I hate saying that, but that being said, they do have a little bit of fluff in them, because they are also, not only are they designed to teach you the aspects of structural geology or plate tectonics in this case, but they're designed to grab your interest. So there will be some kind of opinionated stuff in the introduction, especially in the introductions. And in this case, you will see analogies in textbooks. Matter of fact, there's one in this one involving pizza that's really good. It's actually a really good one. Gesundheit. Blackie. So analogies are often used in textbooks, but that's to get you, because textbooks assume you don't know anything, but you have a base knowledge of what came before it. So, people who just source textbooks and not actual scientific papers, that's not, a bit of advice. I would avoid that. But it's not necessarily wrong. And just because like I said, they do have some opinions and it's a little bit of fluff in them. But they do also have the actual science in them as well. Blackie, you want to go on a tour with everybody through the lab, show the projects going on and stuff like that? You want to show that to people before we take you back inside? Or you just want to sit here and explore? He's probably going to sit here and explore, so I'll take you. Okay, as most of you already know who have followed me for a while, this thing was constructed in May and June of this year, 2019. We did not use any plans. This is not a prefab. The concrete was the only thing we had professionally done there, but we have functioning electricity here. Okay, we do have this. This, like I said, this building was not a prefab. This was not somebody's old shed. This is our own design, and we are not professional carpenters, but we have built a shed before to give us some experience in doing this. So the design was meant to be somewhat flexible. All right, so it is, in my opinion, a solid design. And oh, look, it's actually getting warm in here. Like I said, we do have electricity, and I have that heater and that one to help warm it up, and it's doing pretty good today. Today's not a cold day. High today is going to be about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 10 degrees centigrade, something like that. Yeah, because 40 is 5, something like that. But so we built this, me and Sarah, and so there's some things that had to be adapted because the roof trestles here had to be further spaced apart, and some of them are, the minimum requirement. This one clearly is not. The reason why this one up here has a huge gap in it that's probably 30 inches, if not more, is because I needed to be able to stack stuff like this. But enough about the construction. Oh, that's a little window. And I'm hoping that window, if I did this right, if I stand here, right here on the December solstice at solar noon, the sun should shine directly through that window. I should be able to see it. And if it does work, then I'll record it. If it doesn't, I'll let you know I screwed up. So that's the design. We have double doors here to bring in large things. This door is this door has a lock on it. It almost never is open. There are some things that would not get completed. I am going to put an awning in the front. This thing was built to be on the slab. There was nothing hanging over. There was a reason for doing that. But the problem with that is that potentially can rot the wood. But there are solutions to that. We treated it. We polyurethaned it. We used proper stuff. We built bottoms over so any water would be taken over and away from the concrete. But I still need to do an awning for the front, so to take water totally off of that. That's why there's no drip edges on this thing or gutters yet. Okay, so what about the actual stuff in here, the projects going on? Well, as you can see, there's some particle boards, so I can do things like post maps friends did when I was in college ages ago. I can keep bags, stuff like that. This little welcome thing. The windows that I can open if need be. We have the shelving in here. These are crappy plastic shelves that used to be in the house. They are no longer there. These are industrial shelves, and I'll get to what's on them in a second. But what's on here, these are color-coded. These are mostly professional papers that I have pulled from online or scanned that were original copies of my own. And they're color-coded. Ontario got this pinkish purple. Sorry, Ontario, I love you, but that was the only color left. And I didn't think about it. Illinois is yellow down here. Michigan include the entire state, although 99% of this stuff is Upper Peninsula stuff, is orange. We have green for Wisconsin, purple for Iowa. Red denotes Missouri. There's only a few. Blue is Indiana. There are more blues at the office. This is just a little bit of blue here. White is outside the Midwest and stuff that is not state or provincial specific in the Midwest. So that covers basically everything else. So you can see all these here, that these, like here's Greenland, coming up on Greenland. I put little green there. But general, we got Colorado Plateau stuff. This is nothing but papers. And then more papers there. This is other stuff that has to do with standards and stuff. Standards I try to make black. Like Blackie down there, he's hiding. Aren't you, blacks? But we got, mineral data, stuff like that. Stuff that's references more than anything else. So let's go about here. What is all this stuff? Well, that's propane there for the propane heater. This is presently just a storage shelf, but that's not the intent. And I gotta pull back on this so it doesn't get out of control. Because it's going to be that these are my rocks I've collected over the years. These are actual sample rocks, scientific sample rocks, that will probably be given to the appropriate state survey when I die. Just like my field books, my field books at field notes I've taken over the past 15 plus years, 20 years, those are going to go back to Illinois State University, which is where I graduated from. So that's what's behind me here. There is a method to the madness. It's not random. Like here, I have the dates on the boxes and the general locations. Those all coincide with field books. The samples are labeled two-digit month, two-digit day, two-digit year, -1 for sample 1 of that day, or sample 2, be -2, -3 for whichever sample number that is for the day. And those are all logged in the field book with specific locations, so you can find out where these things came from. These books here are old, mostly Illinois State Geological Survey books, and we're talking early 20th century. Some of these books are more than 100 years old, and I'm thinking time to time when we get close to the year that something is 100. I was thinking about maybe doing a video, on it. Like this one is 1919, so yeah, this one is 100 today, so happy 100th birthday, bulletin number 31, the artesian waters of northeastern Illinois. There we go, 1919. And most of you have already seen or are familiar with my dry erase board. Hi, Blackie. Oh, he wants pets. As I have already shown you guys much stuff on it. This is my jacket that barely fits me anymore as I have gained weight over time since I quit smoking. Since I quit smoking, I have gained weight, but this jacket does still fit me, although barely. And it's mostly of places, parks I've been, if there's been patches, some Canada stuff, the Midwest Institute of Geosciences and Engineering, my non-for-profit. Other patches, I actually had this one made for the Institute on Lake Superior Geology. And so, you can see there's a lot of patches here. And that jacket does appear in several videos. And I do have size one of his face palming mitts, so I have that. A bunch of thermometers in here, no clocks, and most of them are in Fahrenheit. Rulers, gun holster. Engineering tapes up in here. This is where I keep my sieves to run. This is where the lab analyses happen, is on this table. I keep some, screws and stuff in case something is broken. Supplies, sieves, beakers, scale, storage stuff, bags. These are storage bags. I actually use these in the field They're not rainproof, but they're practically indestructible. They're actually pretty good for being like $3 or $4 a piece. You know, some trays for sampling. Up here, same thing. This is all sampling equipment, 40 milliliter jars. There's things in there like walkie-talkies, things that are used in the field but rarely. That I believe is empty as of now. And here are more jars, you know, bowls for holding stuff, some cord, you know. I don't keep a lot of chemicals in here because this thing is not regularly climate controlled. It's only climate controlled when I'm in here. So things like salts I'll keep in here. But I won't keep things in here like bleach or you know, ammonia or hydrochloric acid. But water I will too, although it tends to freeze. You know, and more supplies and stuff over here. And I'm going to show this off again, in case you missed it, but show some stuff here first. You know, this is where I bring rocks back to their sedimentary components, as I like to call it, because, you know, this has been reduced back to sand, which is from that rock there. This is where I conduct my actual tests. These can probably be... These are drying out from the... I use these mostly for density tests. And, you know, for what I use them for, they're pretty accurate. I don't need to... Oh, this still has water in it. I don't need to get glass ones. This stuff isn't... That level of accuracy isn't really needed. Although they're... You can tell, you know, plus or minus 1 milliliter at 20C. That's what they're designed for. That's some rocks I've recently tested here. These are permanent storage bags. See here, month, date, year collected, and sample for that day. So, and if you can find the corresponding field book, and you'll find it in there. The description, location, all that stuff. A description if one was taken. If not, if I didn't do a description at the time, because large part of me doing a lab work here is for me to describe in detail these rocks. So a lot of times I won't do. I'll bring them back here, and because this is where I have the tools to do it. The hardness test kit, which you guys have seen before, the streak plates, all that other stuff, that's in the bag in the truck right now. But if I have samples waiting, I will do this. I'll put them in here. These are individual crystals right here that I managed to pull from this rock so I could get a density on them, so I could get a better idea of what the mineralogy was. This is basalt from the Keweenaw that I need to just kind of put outside, I think. It's done. So this is where the actual work happens. I do plan on... This does have a drain, and it does drain out back downhill out into the storm area. I do not have any sort of water in here. There is no plumbing in here, but I plan on drilling a hole in here, pulling the hose through here when I need it. That's going to be my source of water. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it'll work. It'll also be, in the winter, what I'll also use that hole for, which I'll line with PVC, is to actually, we have 20-pound propane tanks for this. So, because these things only last like, you know, a couple of hours. And as they lose their propane, they get frosty and cold, like this one here. So I can sit in like 30-degree Fahrenheit weather, which is -1 or so C, and feel fine. So that's basically what I have here. Oh, one more thing. These orange buckets are all filled with rocks. But there are some rocks up here I plan on testing too. I'm going to show you, I've already done this, but I want to show you again because I think it's cool. I'm going to show you the Uper lights with my new flashlight. And so if you want to look at that again, stay tuned. But if not, if you have any questions, comments, need clarification, just ask me. And like I said, you know, you're not going to be seeing a lot of me in the next few months. Hopefully that'll change after that. But just let me know if you need anything, and that's it. And well, it's not it. Let me show you the light. But anyway, I hope you learned something. This is perhaps the most accurate thermometer I have in the lab. As you can see, we're coming up on on 60 Fahrenheit just since I started this video, which is what, 14C, 13C, something like that. But up here are my display rocks, or some of them. Some are actually in the house that are never going to be out here. But these are the ones I keep in here in case I need visual aids or cool looking backdrop or something like that. And you guys have seen these before. But what I'm going to show you with my new UV flashlight, the one that's shorter wave, long wave, if that made any sense. 310 nanometers as opposed to 390 or 395. But I didn't show you in the last video what these rocks look like when they're not hit with ultraviolet light. So let me turn the lights out, which probably aren't going to matter because it's still pretty day out. Oh, Blackie's down there. But I didn't show you their natural colors. And then what actually happens when you hit them with the UV. So this is sodalite from Brazil. And sodalite, when it's like this, and most of the rock will be blue. Doesn't look as brilliant blue as it does with my eyes because I've turned the lights down. These are the grayish euperlites. Not very impressive looking rocks in and of themselves. They just look pretty ordinary right there. Now let's start with the sodalite here from Brazil. UV on. See the orange? The orange is the fluorescence. That's how I know this is sodalite. Because everything blue fluoresces orange. Now these guys up here, this is what they look like before you hit them with the UV. Let's hit them with the UV. Like that? I do. I think it's freaking cool. Now, so that's sodalite. That fluoresces in them too. It's just the sodalite is not blue. But it's still the fluorescent color, that orange, that yellow, well, it looks yellow-orange in the camera. It's actually bright orange. It's the same. It's the same property no matter what color the actual sodalite is. And you see other things here, like my Sudbury Impact, don't fluoresce very much. Actually, they don't fluoresce at all. The Galesville doesn't fluoresce. Baraboo Quartzite doesn't fluoresce. I thought it'd be kind of cool if the calcite here fluoresced. You see some stuff in there fluorescing? Yeah, that's dust. Nothing in the Rapakivi type texture rock fluoresces. The shatter cone, however, does seem to have, and I can't tell if that's crap on it or in the rock. I need to actually look in detail. It does have a blue fluorescence to it and kind of spattered around. So that's something I need to check on. I think that's it for me showing off the flashlight again. Blackie. Get out of there. It's not a clean place. It's dirty, bro. Blackie, come on. Relax. Typical cat doesn't listen. Those are lab books. What are you doing? Blackie, where are you going? Blackie. Oh. Ooh, come on. You can do it. You all right there? You okay, bud? Those are just rocks. There's no loops, brother. There's no food in there for you. No, I know it looks like your food dish, but no, those are rocks. Man, this cat is a dog. I mean, he eats table food. He eats human food. It's rather quite adorable, actually. Blackie.